Welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. On today's episode, I have something a little different than what we normally do. So normally, of course, I do interviews. Today is a group coaching session from inside of our monthly coaching community. Inside of the group coaching community, we do multiple sessions per month, like at least 6, maybe even closer to 8. It kind of depends on the month and what I have going on. But I try to make sure that we have multiple opportunities and that you have multiple opportunities to come to a group coaching session. Inside of there, we share so much wisdom. It is amazing the inspiration that I even get from these women whenever we are inside of these groups. I walk away ready to implement in my own professional organizing business, even after I've been doing this as long as I have. And so I know that whether you are just getting started or you've been doing this for years, it doesn't really matter because you don't have to do this alone. Even if you only come to 1 or 2 groups throughout the month, no matter what, you can watch the replays from the group that you didn't get a chance to come to, or you can just come to 1 or 2 per month. It is worth it. It is a business write-off inside of your taxes because it's for your business. And, you know, the cost of $47 for the month, if you're getting at least a handful of ideas for your business at minimum, which you will, then it's worth it because doing this alone is no good for anyone, in my opinion. And if you are listening to my podcast and you are a professional organizer or you're just starting as an organizer and you want to be a professional organizer, no matter where you are on your journey, having support and having women around you is priceless. And so if you have been thinking about joining our coaching community, please stop thinking about it and just come on over and join us. I'm sure you heard in last week's episode, I'm in the process of creating a template and a course for anyone starting their professional organizing business. There will definitely be more to come on that very soon. I just wanted to go ahead and give you a heads up as a listener that you will get the opportunity to take my course at a discounted rate to give me feedback. And I'm also creating a template for your website that has a mini course that comes with it that I'm also going to want some feedback on as well. So if you are interested in any of those things, you can go to proorganizerscoach.com and hit the contact button and just let me know, hey, I'm interested when one of your courses comes out. I would love to be a part of the pre-release, whatever it is that you all need. Again, I am in the process of making. And so I truly hope that this helps you. If you've already got your website and you've already got your business started, but you're still listening, I truly, truly am so appreciative. And again, we have the group coaching community. You can hop over there. We would love to have your wisdom. We would just love to have you as a part of the group. So if you've already started your business, go join the group coaching community. If you have not started your business, still go join the group coaching community at proorganizers.community is where you will find that. Thank you for listening to this podcast, and I hope to see you inside of the community very soon. Enjoy this. You are listening to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. I'm Samantha Brown, a professional organizer and business coach. In this podcast, you will learn how to start and scale the organizing business of your dreams. So let's jump in. How's it going?
It's good, I guess.
Yeah.
We're making some progress, slow progress.
Good. Yeah. Well, and I was talking with Amanda in the group the other day we were recording, and she's a teacher full-time. So she works a full-time job. She's a mom, she's a wife, and she's doing this. And she started back in January. And with, you know, school and like full-time, everything all the time, you know, she's like, I've gotten to the point where if I get a client, great. If I don't, fine. She said, but I've got so much stuff going on anyways. And that's what I was explaining to her. I'm like, you know, some of us, we like jump in and we're doing this 6 days a week, 5 or 6 days a week. And so we're putting all this time and energy and everything into it. So of course, for some of us, it's going to go a little faster than for the ones of us that can only do it on the weekends, you know, because you still have a full-time job. And so when our expectations are really high and then we don't meet those expectations, we almost disappoint ourselves. And, you know, so I think being excited about your small wins is like a good
Oh, and I'm okay with that. I mean, yes, ideally, I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to start this and it's going to be powerful and I'm going to retire at the end of this year. But I mean, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, different types. Like I listen to all of yours when they come out, but also different business podcasts and just like, how do you get the ball rolling? I'm listening to one girl that's just a local, like, person. How do you grow just locally? And, so I'm getting a lot of ideas and a lot of just things that I need to do. But since the last time we talked, I had my class. Only one person came, but it's somebody who I've known, and she trusted me, and we had actually a very good working session, not at her home, but I mean, we went through how do you organize, and I got to hear all her needs, and she's lost a son, and she's alone, and was able to just tell stories, and we just I think it was good. I really do. Yeah, she's been sending me pictures of things she can do. So I'm just trying to build that relationship there, kind of. If it turns into something great, if it doesn't, that's fine too. I asked her just to do a Google review, and she did. And I asked her to just tell some people, Then I reached out. Remember, we were talking about I was going to cold call people through my DMs. I mean, call is not the word, but
send them messages.
Yeah, so I did, and it was like it's called MOPS. I don't know, maybe you know about it. It's
Moms of Preschoolers.
Yes, the Baptist churches around here have it. I'm not that familiar with it. So I had one lady reach back out to me, and she was like, "Hey, I follow you on a different page that I run, and it's North Shore Mamas, and she's got like 2,000 people, mamas, and she's like, would you come do my playroom and my pantry, and then I'll promo the whole thing?" And I was like, "Yep."
I sure will.
Yep, I'm coming. I'm hoping that turns into something. She's booked me for a class for the moms group of it's like 80 women to do like a back to school organization class in early August. So, I mean, it's something.
Yeah, it is. Congrats. Because it literally just takes that first one or two to like get the ball rolling. That's
now
amazing.
The lady I was supposed to do a consult with last week, she completely ghosted me.
Those happen from time to time. Like we work with disorganized people. And then we almost get like shocked when they're disorganized.
You're right. And that was something that you taught me. Like, I tend to work with organized people in my school system because just kind of what teachers are. I forgot that this job would be with people who are not organized in most areas of their life.
Yeah. I was going to say hi. So Tatiana's here and Jen's here and Trisha's here. I haven't seen Trisha in a minute. Or Tatiana. Hey, are you working?
Hi. No, I'm working on, my bedroom.
Oh, okay. Hey, you go right ahead.
No, but I got time to talk to you ladies. I'm excited to be here again.
Hey, I loved your post. I showed my husband. I go, listen, I said, she's like Latina. Like she's, I said, so she put this post and it's like, I'm a pro organizer. Like I got it. And I was like, it's so funny. Because at first I was like, it's misspelled. And then I was like, oh no, she meant it this way, like organizer.
Yeah, I fixed it. I was like, let me just fix it. Yeah. It was to be funny.
Yeah.
But I fixed it. I was like, let me fix it. And then put the picture there. For me, I've learned that it's important to put a face,
oh,
for people to have an idea who is, walking into their homes, and all that. But yeah, it's been good. I do need to promote more in Google, so I may invest a little bit in that market area. But I did, since I launched, I did like 3 houses. 3, yeah. So
nice.
3. I did 2 closets, a linen closet, and 2 bedrooms.
So are you going in and doing them? Are they part of your cleaning clients or like what?
So 2 of them were my current clients, so I separated cleaning from that, and then another 2 were referrals from my clients.
The word's getting around, and people are talking, and kind of half and half.
Yeah. I'm trying to target now the Google, because of course it's not, my name is not a thing. So and I have like 2 competitors here, and I barely hear from them. So you know what that means. That means
yes,
that
means you're going to get busy as soon as you start putting it out there is what that means. I hear from people all the time that no one calls them back in my area. I don't know if anyone else has that with the organizers in their area, but they're like, you're the only one that's called me back. I've reached out to 4 or 5. And I'm like, really? Like, how do people run businesses if they don't call you back?
Yeah. Yes. I have even that in my cleaning business as well. They're like, you're the only one who called, like, actually, in a good timeline.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I need money.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Right.
So I'm here.
Today I did a organizing session that turned into a 3-hour life coaching session with literally I didn't do a thing. Like, the entire time I maybe said 10 sentences. This woman just needed to vent for 3 straight hours. Yes.
Yes.
I held the space for her and I was just like, all right. And then I walked out and I took a nap when I got home because I was so emotionally drained.
I had that experience. I do cleaning and I do get tired, but I was emotionally drained and mentally drained. Because especially for the very first one, I did her closet. And I think she hasn't been in that closet in like 10 years because it was intense. We emptied like 10 bags of clothes, but we did it. If you go to my Facebook page, it's one of the second posts and it is the very and I went shopping for her basket. So we made it work, exchanged pictures and everything. And she was so happy that she could actually walk into her walk-in closet.
It's so funny when people call and they're like, I've not been able to open the door to my closet. Like, I had a lady recently that said it had been like 5 years since she had just been able to open the door into her walk-in closet because the pile was so tall. And it ended up taking us 6 hours of me and her working together to go through all of her clothes because there were so many.
It took me like 5 hours. 5 hours and 3 of that was to declutter. and donate, and 3 hours of that. But I'm glad that she was willing to. She's like, if I haven't worn in a year, it's gonna go. You don't have clients like that all the time. So I was like, yes, no. And then we were like, boom, 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 boom. A donation, closet, and we were just going. And then with 3 hours.
I had a lady this week that I've been helping. So when she called me, she said, can you organize my home with my mom? And I was like, at first I almost said no, because I was like, how does your mom know what you want to release? And like, how do we declutter what me and your mom, but it's your house and you're not a part of the process. But when I saw the house, she was just so overwhelmed and her kids were coming home for the summer. And like, it was just this whole thing. Long story short, I'm ready to steal her mom now as like my assistant. Like, I'm going to steal you because it's so nice having someone there to like help and, kind of be like, whatever you want, I'll just help you. And she's like the cutest 70-something-year-old woman. And hey, Trisha, I wanted to say hi real quick because I haven't seen you in a minute. How's the Facebook stuff and all the things going? I haven't even like been on my phone the past couple weeks. I've been so between the move, like I've been like this the whole time, just trying to get through.
It's, it's slow going. I've had some conversations. God ghosted too, but whatever. Do what I can, show up where I can. And, mentally I wasn't really in the game. And so I'm hoping that, this week I can bring myself back into, working on all of that.
Yeah. Cause working from home, like it's hard. Like the organizing sessions are one thing when you go in and you're like, okay, working with a client and getting stuff done. But then like the business stuff or the things you're doing from the computer at home, like you have to like get up and like almost like pump yourself up to like get in the mind frame and get in the, and get the stuff done. And because if not, you blink and like 2 weeks have gone by and you're like, oops, sorry.
Didn't do anything. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think it's also bringing me into the mindset of I have too many ideas again, and I really need to just take some time to just kind of sit down. And I have a huge mess going on, and as fellow organizers, when you have a mess going on, it's really hard to think. So yeah, my goal is to kind of get my mess taken care of and hopefully show up live this week in the group and Don't know what I'm going to talk about. I have no idea what content I have this week, but it's, I'm working.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll get there. It'll come.
Yeah. We will give you permission to just, yes. Hey, Jen, I wanted to say hi real quick.
Hi. Tomorrow I have to reach out to my insurance guy again because I did find somebody on another group had mentioned this company or this website to check out, Simply Business, and I guess they give you a couple different quotes for professional organizing.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it was just I guess they might be like a broker or something of that nature. And basically they do have professional organizing as a category.
Can I tell them what they were going to try to charge you for the year?
Go for it.
Well, it was like what, $1,200 per year? $1,400 for the year for insurance. And it was like craziness, like insanity. I pay like $250 for the year. Yeah. And then I know another organizer that she just got quoted like 2 weeks ago, all through the same company. And hers was like $570 for the year. And it's like, hold on, and it's all through the same company. And so for me, they had put me down as an engineer. It was like the category of somehow. And then for the chick that got 570 something, they had put her down as an artisan. And then with Jen, we weren't sure, but it's so funny how it's like they don't even know where to put us.
Yeah. So when I went on there and did that, they came back with 3 different companies. And the quotes were, the bottom one was like only $95 for the year, which it was almost like, that seems a little too low. I wonder what it covers.
Yeah.
And then there was one that was, I think, around $250 or $300, and then another one that was around maybe $525, something like that. So what I want to do though is I want to go to talk to my broker and be like, okay, so here's the other quotes that I got. So obviously I know they're doing it just based on trying to just guess what I do, but it seems unreasonable that these other companies should be able to get it down to these prices when you're saying, it's going to be $1,300 or $1,400. I want to get a hold of them and say, okay, how can we make this work? And if they can't make it work, I mean, I'd like to go with them. It's a small local business. Like I said, my other insurance is through them, but if they can't make it work, at least I know there are other companies that I could go through.
Well, and then there was a company that I saw a commercial for that helps you get like your LLC. It's called Taylor Brands. And
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, and I saw a commercial for it, and it was like, essentially you just answer a few questions and then they help you get your LLC. And I was like, oh, fantastic. And you can do like your business cards through them. You can do your logo. It's kind of like a Canva, but like with like a LLC attached on the front end. And so I was going to do some research on that to see if, anyone going for their LLC, if that would help make it easier. Cause I'm always trying to find things like you said it was called Simply Business.
Yeah. I think it's just simplybusiness.com.
Okay.
And it basically is it looks like it's a website that they try to cater towards smaller businesses in particular. And they have just a ton of different categories.
That's awesome. At least they have our category. Like we all know that very few even have our category as an insurance.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was like, oh, okay. If they have our category, then I'll at least, get a few. As far as the LLC thing, I know some people have had good luck with, not necessarily for professional organizing, but just in general with, LegalZoom.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, no, other than that, I've just been, doing stuff around my own home, and I'm trying to figure out what I want my next step to be as far as, other than, the insurance thing.
I really, not to interrupt you, but what Leslie had said about the mops thing, I think that's like a nugget of gold.
I think I got part of that but I didn't hear the whole thing.
So she was saying, so it's
groups?
called, yeah, it's called MOPS. And I don't know if they have it up north. They have it in the South for sure, but they're at churches, and it's mothers of preschoolers. And what it is it's groups of moms that get together with each other like once a week, and they let all their kids play together. And they, either have like a Bible study or have a topic that they taught, and they support one another. But point being is, I think if someone in their area could get in with their like some local MOPS group, all of a sudden you have all of these moms with little kids that we know are overwhelmed and could use our help.
That and other things I've been trying to okay, I need to sit down and say, okay, where are some networking things that I can do, and where are some other, those types of ideas of different groups I could reach out to and start getting the word spread outside of just, my network.
Yeah.
Because I know, obviously, like you've said, it's going to take some time, but if I don't put, feelers out there, then nobody's going to know about me. So yeah, that's my next step, I think, is to just sit down and be like, okay, where can I start, reaching out and try to come up with things to like present to realtors and.
Yeah. Well, and I think once we have like the basics down and our fundament, like the foundational pieces of like the website, the blah, all that stuff. And then it's like those first few steps are the hardest of like, okay, now what do I do? Like I've done all of the like to-do list things. Now what? Yeah. And sometimes it's as simple as having a conversation with someone. Like I challenged myself when I was first starting. I heard it on somebody's podcast, and she related it to life coaching, but I was like, I can do that for organizing. But she said, tell 3 people a day what you do, just 3 people a day. And I was like, I can do that. And so I was the crazy person at the grocery store, like walking up to random people, telling them, what I do and how I could help them, which helped me with like my little quick elevator pitch. Obviously it worked because I started getting jobs. And hey, Leslie, I wanted to tell you, I think that like moment you had with that woman was so purposeful. Like it like when you were telling the story, it almost felt like one of those moments of like, okay, no one showed up but her. Obviously, this was for her. Yeah.
I agree. And I told her that because, like I said, we knew each other for years, and I know the whole story with her son that passed away and everything. And she was like, I don't want to waste your time. I was like, no, there's a reason why it is you and it is me. And we're in this place, and you're going to sit down, and when she just started talking, I was like, I will help you for free. Like, she's already sent me photographs and stuff. I'm like, we'll get there. I said, but we had a whole moment about she's never touched his bedroom. He's been gone 5 years. And I'm like, okay, we'll get there, or you can get there by yourself. I'll help you if you want, but you're going to give yourself grace and time. And that room doesn't have to be touched right now. Right. And I was like, so what is it in your house that like, she's like my bathroom. I just I go in there and it's just so dysfunctional. I'm like, okay, well, that's where we're going to start. Like, we're not going to start in the hard places. We're going to start in a place that's going to give you peace and stress release right now. And then we'll get, that can be last. You haven't done it in 5 years. It doesn't have to be done now.
Right.
And I absolutely agree. It was a moment that was meant to be just her. It was even like, she was like, I know what you planned. Like, you planned to teach me how to meal plan for the week. I don't need that. I'm like, fine. Put that aside. Tell me what you need. So it was more like a one-on-one coaching session, but it really was good.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like you learned like what your clients are needing, and like, or at least some sort of clients. And like, you got to, like you were saying, like ask her questions, and she answered, and now you're going to have photos, and you got a testimonial, and like, there's all these things that are so much more valuable than the money at the very beginning.
And I agree. I absolutely agree with you. And the place where I hosted it, who had reached out to me about hosting some classes there, they're ready to book another class. They posted the class on their social media, with photographs of what we did. And I've already gotten more feedback from that. I had a realtor reach out. I booked in August to go to a realtor's to do like a workshop with them on what I do and how I can help them. So like, it at least helps spread the word, if nothing else. So, and I know that that's a positive thing. So
obviously you're meant to go more that route, where if in the beginning someone had been like, you have to do a presentation, which I did one time and I like shook the whole time I was talking. But if but for you, like that seems almost like natural, like you're excited about it. And that's what I love about this profession, is like each one of us can make it our own, and like who we are can really shine as we're helping others.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, that is awesome. Like, I'm so excited for you. So excited.
I would love to do something like that too. I'm the type of person who put me in front of a group of people. I'm fine with that. I have no problem at all.
I thought I was until I stood up at the microphone and I was like, and like my voice was like, and I couldn't stop it. And I was like, no. And so I focused on one lady, which maybe I went too big for my first presentation, because the room was jam-packed. There was probably about 150 women there all staring at me when I walked up to the podium, and I was like,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Did you think of any questions, Jen?
Yeah. Let's see. So one thing I was, thinking of is, how do you guys handle like planning out like weekly business hours? Like, and by that I mean like not like the hours you're available for actually doing sessions, but like making sure you're sitting down and planning and doing the business side of things. Like, is there a best way to do it? Do you find like, I mean, I have some things I've tried and it works okay, but like, I'm just trying to see if there's other things I should be trying, or if you have like a list of things that you make sure you tackle regularly, or any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know about anybody else, but I know for me, it has to be in my calendar, like as a to-do thing, like as if I were going to do a session, or I'm not going to get it done. It's just going to keep getting pushed, because then I'm going to go do a session instead. And then I'm going to end up getting overwhelmed that day, or not making it to that thing. And then the other thing is, especially when it's from home, I've also found that like sometimes just going to Starbucks or going to the park, or like just something that is like, and my workspace I have found is huge, because I used to have one little corner of my bedroom and it was so hard to get work done in that teeny tiny corner.
Well, for me, it's difficult because I have two businesses, but I try to separate like a day. Like I try to make a point to try to schedule either in the morning or afternoon, or just or a day, a specific day during the week. It helps me out. I put it in my calendar in a specific day and I could focus. That's how I was able to do the website. I was like, no, everything is on pause.
Yeah.
And then I just focused on, I said, no, like I need to really do this. And I focused 8 hours of my life in that one day. And I did it. I was like, I was able to do it all. And then I did it the next week. I tried to schedule everything. I was like, and I was, it's discipline, I think. It's like you need to be disciplined, like going to the gym or in a diet is the same. I was like, you need to discipline and, okay, no, at least from 10 to 1 or at least an hour a day to focus on something of your business. It helps.
Yeah. And real quick I found that scheduling the same day of each week is super helpful for me, because my brain like goes into, every Wednesday is like, work on my business kind of day,
Exactly. I chose Friday is my lowest day, and that's why I did. I was like, Fridays are business. I call it I'm in the office. What are you doing? I'm doing admin work.
Right.
That's how I
Isn't it funny how it always sounds so fancy when you're first getting started and you hear other people say like, my employees or my assistants or, like you hear all these things. And then as you get along, you find out that it was like their friend or their like, whatever. And you're like, why did you make it seem so like professional and out of reach?
It feels good. It feels good. I don't know.
Oh, no, it does. And then once you're on this side, you're like, I'm in the office, because you want to feel like,
My office is the room in the...
Yep.
I'm like, I need to get to my office to see my calendar. I just don't have my calendar with me. So
right.
I can't tell you my availability because I don't know. I literally don't know. I have to get to the office. Literally. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious.
People might think I'm in a building. No, bro. I'm
Yeah.
in my house.
I mean, for
I'm not
me,
that-
like yesterday, my daughter had to go to Books A Million for something, and she gets in there and she's in there forever. So like, I grabbed my phone, and that's when I was scheduling out some of my posts that I have planned. Like I
do
just
that
take
too.
moments like that. Like I might go ahead and
Mhm.
make my stuff on Canva and then just have it on my phone. And then when I'm standing and I'm idle, or we're sitting at karate class or whatever, a lot of times the first Monday of the month at karate, or Tuesday of the month at karate class, I schedule all my tips of the week for the whole month, just sitting there in that hour. So for me, I'm cramming it in kind of like that.
Yeah, like wherever you can fit it.
Yeah, I do that too.
But I have a to-do list. Like there's a task list. It's not like I'm just flying, because we're organized people, right? So there's a reason and a rhyme for why we're doing what we're doing. And so I know what the next thing is that needs to happen. I just have to fit it in when it fits in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Jen, you'll kind of figure it out as you go on the whole, like, what is your next step? Because that first, like, that first few steps, like, it feels like you're moving a mountain, trying to figure out what are these first few steps. But once you start going, then you start to figure out, like, and sometimes it's as simple as create a post, post the post, like, 2 tasks, it's very, and I think sometimes especially in the beginning, we can almost like overwhelm ourselves with all the ideas and all the thoughts and all the things. When it really is as simple as kind of like the tell 3 people a day what you do or how you can help them. Well, get 3 mini tasks done per day, or, whatever works for you. You just have to kind of find what works for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for me, what I'd like to do, like I said, is kind of come up with a few things that I should do consistently, just to keep me on task. So like, I've been okay with the social media. I need to do some more posts. Like I have a bunch of quote posts made out for quite a while, but I need to come up with some other, I'm kind of like wanting to alternate a little more content based posts and then like a good inspirational quote type thing, and kind of rotate.
I will tell you, in the beginning, what I did was I went on to other organizers' pages and reshared their stuff that looked really good. That was like an organized pantry or a whatever, because I didn't have my own photos. I didn't have my own stuff to share. And so I would go find someone that I followed and I would reshare their stuff, which of course they want, because it's in, as long as you're giving them credit. And I would always put in like the wording, like, look at how Better Homes and Garden did blah, 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 or whatever. And because you give them credit and you're resharing it, they're fine with it. But on your post, it's showing up as something that looks like good content, because, instead of just words on a screen.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, because just within the last couple of days, this random Instagram decided to repost my thing. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
Right.
I don't even know who you are, but okay. So it was just unexpected, but they gave me credit and everything, but I was just like, okay, that, making sure that, like if I need to, do certain business things, I'm just want to make sure I'm on task and that I'm continuously trying to progress this and not just sit and wait for someone to call me if I'm not out there promoting, making it so people know about me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really think it's as simple as making sure you're posting on social media, making sure you're telling people what you do and how you can help them. And I mean, sometimes it's literally as simple as that in the beginning. Like you have to get word out, or like the presentation thing that Leslie did. Like if there's somewhere that Marcella this week was doing she found some kind of like where they're dancing into the night or something, but she's setting up a booth at this and I'm like, only in California. Like I want to go. It's like dancing on the beach with like margaritas and tacos or something. And I was like, that sounds fabulous. And so she's setting up like a booth, which I did, but I think I picked the wrong like place to set up a booth. I think we have to be like super strategic if we're going to do something like that, that it's the right type of people that are coming through the venue. Because if not, you can spend a lot of money real quick and not get anything back for it at all. I never even had the people, I donated a session. It was like a mini session. It was like 2 hours. And the people never even reached out to redeem it. And they had this like cute, like I went all out with this like gold card that was like the golden ticket kind of, like I went stupid with it for like weeks, like, and nothing ever came of it. And so it was kind of like okay, well, that happened.
Is it okay if I add a couple?
Absolutely. Give us your wisdom, Trisha.
That was 2 different things. So I'm going to go back to the working in your business. The first thing I want to say, the biggest lesson that I've learned is I do not have to be at my computer and in my office 24/7. I'm allowed to have a life. So that's what the second big lesson for me is you got to learn who you are and what you like, what you don't like, when you're tired, when you have a lot of energy, when you're creative, when you're not. So really getting clear on what works for you. And it doesn't have to look like anyone else's stuff because it's your business. You just, I what Leslie said, you just like, when it comes because that's how I work too for posting and stuff. Like I've tried today is content day. I'm really, really forcing I'm forcing myself to do it. And it just never works. I tried it today too. It just doesn't work. So then I end up doing nothing because I'm like, so it just doesn't work. The thing that worked the best for me was writing out what my ideal day is in my head and then really looking at what you've written down and what is realistic and what really is something that you think you've heard this, I should do this. Am I going to do that? Probably not. Like I finally had to give myself permission because I didn't want to come in my office till 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's okay. I was plunking my butt down in my chair by 9 a.m. and then I was just doom scrolling all day because it was not the time I wanted to be there. I wasn't ready to be in here. I was like, so it just has to be right for you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I just think you're doing good. And I would just remove the words should and need to, learn from my pain because I got stuck in that and I tortured myself for over a year thinking I was wrong. And there is no wrong way if you're doing it your way. And if it's what your heart is telling you to do. And also today I was watching this assertiveness training. And one of the big things is, what are the things, like she had broken it out into the work so the work A is the stuff that you love to do, that you just can go, there's flow and everything that you love. And then it progressively goes down to D, which is the things that you're like, I hate this. I don't want to do it. It sucks all of the life out of me. And how can you find someone who's that's their column A is this stuff, right? So maybe we can't afford it right now, but just being aware of the fact that this is the stuff that I hate to do right now makes it kind of like, okay, wow. I get it's not my column A. And then, her thing was don't do D, but I can't afford to pay anyone to do all the D stuff that I don't want to do. So right. Like, how do I make that work? And that's going to be like, I don't like my tax stuff. I don't like doing my bookkeeping stuff. And that's usually last minute before I was in a panic before I have to do my taxes. That's okay too, right? That works for me right now. And eventually it won't. So.
Hey, I completely agree. And honestly, like it's whenever we get into the shoulds that the creative stuff stops. It's like we stop ourselves in our tracks instead of just being like, okay, forget what everyone else is saying. And then like the other day I sit here and I spun in my chair a little bit before I got started just because I wanted to and because I could, and it made me happy to get dizzy for a second because it was stupid. It was like something you do as a kid. And then I was like, all right, okay, now what am I doing? And then I like had energy to like do stuff. And the other thing for me that I've found for myself is my area, even if it's a closet or a corner of the room, if that area is not set up because I'm such an organized person, if it feels cluttered, I cannot think, which is why I used to go in my car or to Starbucks or like anywhere I could besides my house, because at home it just felt too overwhelming to sit there. And so as long as I could sit in my car for hours and get stuff done. And the second I would come in the house, it would just like stop, before I was able to have an office. And so I think that, just figuring those little things out, like you were saying, of like, who are you? What are your things and what are not your things? And then giving yourself grace for those not things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. The other question I had was, I was just curious if other people, like as far as like the networking stuff, have anybody joined like their local chamber of commerce? Does that help? Is that something that you would recommend, not recommend?
I don't know about anybody else, but I know for me, every time I've tried to network with other people, they are so busy worrying about their own businesses that it's almost like it never, like, I think if I were to find, like, let's say, because like right now I've got a girl that I went to high school with that she has a cleaning business. And so I kind of partnered with her because I don't want to do the cleaning sessions. And so when I have a client that is like, do you know a cleaner? I pass her along and she kind of does the same for me, but we benefit one another. Plus we went to high school together, but I had to find someone that actually like knew me before they even gave a flip, because everyone's so busy with their time. And the problem with networking events, they are fantastic kind of like the vendor things, in my opinion. They're fantastic. Like if you can find the right group or it feels like the right fit, or if it's something that you just want to do, then great. By all means, I would not say don't do it. But if it's something that you're like, oh, there's another fee that I don't want to have to pay, but I should do this thing, then don't even worry about it, because it's not hurting you to not have that thing. And there's Facebook groups that you can network on the face, like your local networking. Because like in Knoxville, there's like a Knoxville women's business, Facebook group. And whenever I look up that stuff, I just went and joined, and at least like randomly once in a blue moon, I'll send a post out of like a before and after with like a special I'm running, or, just to kind of, but I mean, nothing has ever for me come from that stuff. And I don't have enough time to give. I think it's a lot of money and time, and I don't have either one of those things to give to them. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good advice. That's kind of what I was feeling like as well. Like that it's just another fee if I wanted to, be involved, and I wasn't sure how much it would actually benefit.
Yeah. Well, and that's also why I love having this, right? That's why I started this, is because I was feeling lonely at home in my business. Like I was feeling so alone and so like, where do I find other people that are like doing similar things, but that like we can meet once in a blue moon, chat it out if I'm stuck or they're stuck, or, and so that's why I created this thing, because everywhere I looked, they wanted my money, but then there was no like this of just like getting to know people and like talking things out. And especially when you're first starting, you just have questions. Like I just needed someone to answer my questions.
I got a chance to go to a like a Better Business Bureau kind of thing. That's my girlfriend and her husband own an actual business that like like a concrete business. So
right,
they invited me to come, and it was kind of a networking thing put on by the Better Business Bureau plus the Chamber of Commerce kind of thing. If you can have a chance to like get an invitation to go and check it out, it's a really great way to find out if it's something that would fit you or not. Because when you have the thought, it's kind of hard to let it go sometimes when you're not really sure. Well, maybe it might work, maybe it won't, maybe I'll meet someone that I really like, and you never know, you might and you might not. So if you can find a way to do it, just to have an invitation to go, I found it quite eye-opening, and it really did solidify that that's not for me. It's the same with like those places like BNI, which is big networking, right? But I've been invited a few times to speak, and I don't like the setup of it because of how you have to help someone, and if you don't help someone, you can like get kicked. It's just, I don't like the way that it's set up. But right now, I'm also a member of what's called Fem City. It's out of the US, but I'm on the virtual Canada side, and I found that very helpful because I've met some really wonderful, like-minded people, women, because it's all women, and it feels pretty safe to be there, and you get to have chats with people, and there's no pressure of being sold anything except for your fee, if that's what you want to do.
And I think I've heard a lot of networking places that are local. You can normally get an invite for your first time for free to check it out and see if you like it. And so even if you were like, oh, well, I'm just going to try a couple in my area, that first time is normally free because they want you to come see what it's like. And they want you, to then sign with them. And if you go and for free and you're like, these are my people, like, why not? I love when like these meetings kind of have like an overarching like theme or whatever, but like it really, really is. And everything that I have learned in the years that I've been doing this is when we stay true to who we are, it works. Mm-hmm. When we start doing what anyone else, and it's so good when that's why I try to say on the podcast, or at least I hope I say it enough, of like whatever is for you, take it. Whatever's not, just leave it. Like it, just because I did it or someone I'm interviewing did it does not mean that I'm like promoting that's how it should be done, because it's not. And every area is different. Every group of people are different. Every, organizer are different. And so I don't know. I think that like spending time with ourselves, and Trish and I've had this conversation many a times, of, the more we find out who we are on the inside, the more our business grows. And the more that we like are either doing our to-do list or what we should be doing, or we're like forcing the D stuff or the whatever, is when it feels forced. Like it's so hard to get any traction going. But the second that we are just like, okay, forget it, whatever happens, happens. Like I'm just going to be me. It's like, then everything starts to work and you're like, well, looky there. Okay, that worked.
If you're feeling some fear, or you're unsure, or you're just, you're not believing in, for example, your pricing or whatever that might be, people are picking up on that, whether you're saying anything or not. That energy is there, and it's really important. And, this is stuff that I have learned the hard way. So I just want to share it with everyone, because like, as soon as you start to find a place where it's your comfort zone, where it's like your thing, people start to react to you differently, and they start to be attracted to your message and what you're doing. And so, that whole piece of letting go of that, I need to, I'm bad at this, just trying, like working at just releasing that stuff one at a time. Don't try to do it all at once. Take your time. But as soon as you start to release that, it just starts to come a little bit more naturally, and you start to find the people who are your people, clients and other people. They just kind of show up surprisingly, and opportunities show up.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes like I had hit points where I was like, okay, like this price point or this whatever does not feel right to me. It feels like I'm overcharging where I am now, like that I would be like almost like taking or stealing from someone. So I brought my prices back down, and I was like, all right, whatever I am comfortable with, when I walk into this home, I have to look this person in the face and be solid and know that what I'm selling is a good deal. It's a good price. It's a good whatever. And that's why, especially in the beginning, even if you're getting $20 an hour, like I was ecstatic for $20 an hour in the beginning, So like whatever feels right, go with that. You can never fail when you go with what feels right for you.
Yeah. And like you said, people definitely will recognize the confidence or lack thereof, that energy, and people notice it even if they can't quite put the words to what it is.
Right. They feel it for sure. And and I was on that note, and then we'll kind of end. But Leslie, today, like your energy was so different than any other time. And it makes me so happy because I was so concerned. I was like, oh, please don't let Leslie quit. Like, just let her get a client. Let her get somebody. Like, just don't let her quit. Because it can get discouraging in the beginning and it can get so frustrating. And that whole like feeling like you're forcing it, and so I don't know, it makes me so happy to see you happy. Like you're
and no,
today.
the quit is not there. It was really more like, I guess I was pressuring myself to make this be something already that is coming. It's not time. And I talk to people all the time about when it's time, and when it's not. And I just have to talk to myself about that too.
Hey, that is a perfect thing to end on. We got to talk to ourselves when we tell other people.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming today. This has been so good. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode as much as I enjoyed having that group coaching session inside of the membership. Again, if you have thought about joining our membership or want to come give it a try, please go to proorganizers.community and you will find what you need there. You can also reach out to me at proorganizerscoach@gmail.com if you have any questions. Or if you'd like to set up a free consultation, go to proorganizerscoach.com. I do one-on-one coaching. And then, of course, we have the group membership where we meet like this multiple times throughout the month so we can help you in your business. And that way you are never alone as you grow or scale your professional organizing business. I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a very blessed week. You have been listening to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. Go to the show notes to find all of the links mentioned in this episode and hit that subscribe and automatic download button so you don't miss a single thing. Thanks for listening.